3 #1 albums in less than a year. That's not just impressive, it's the kind of thing music historians usually talk about in the same breath as the Beatles. And yet, this wasn't the Fab Four. This was a group of 7 young men from South Korea who, in 2013, were scraping by on little more than ramen and dreams. BTS didn't just step onto the global stage, they rewrote the rules for how you get there. And the road they took wasn't paved by the usual music industry gatekeepers. It was built, brick by brick, by their own hands and the millions of people who came to call themselves egg-ear-my. When BTS debuted under Big Hit Entertainment, they weren't exactly the darlings of the K-pop scene. They didn't have the budgets, the flashy wardrobes, or the media hype machine that the big 3 labels gave their idols. What they did have was something harder to manufacture: honesty. From the start, their music spoke to pressures most young people felt, but rarely heard addressed in pop songs. School stress, societal expectations, self-doubt, mental health struggles. They put it all out there, even when it wasn't fashionable or safe to do so. It made them stand out, but it also made them deeply relatable. They didn't wait for traditional media to come calling. Instead, they took over the internet like it was their own stage. Twitter, YouTube, and V-Live became their megaphones. Fans didn't just see polished performances, they got chaotic dance practices, inside jokes, RM's late-night musings, and Jungkook's gym selfies. They got to know BTS as human beings first, idols second. That transparency built trust, and that trust built ARMY, a fandom unlike anything the music industry had ever seen. This wasn't just a crowd of casual listeners. It was an organized, multilingual force that could turn a song release into a global event. It helped that the music kept evolving. BTS went from raw hip-hop rookies to pop powerhouses, blending EDM, R&B, and even rock into their sound without losing their lyrical depth. They tackled depression and loneliness one moment, then lit up the dance floor the next. Their Love Yourself trilogy wasn't just an album series, it was a movement, encouraging fans worldwide to embrace self-love and vulnerability. And in a world of carefully managed pop personas, BTS stayed refreshingly themselves. Goofy, sentimental, sometimes messy, but always real. The records started piling up. The first Korean act to top the Billboard Hot 100. Multiple stadium sellouts, including Wembley. Breaking YouTube premiere records with Dynamite, which also went on to rack up millions in charity donations through its success. Map of the Soul 7 sold over 4 million copies in 9 days, becoming the best-selling album in South Korean history. And all of this while singing primarily in Korean, proving that authenticity could travel farther than any marketing plan. With the fame came challenges. Western media often treated them like a novelty act, reducing them to just another boy band, despite their artistry. They were asked why they didn't sing in English, as though global success required abandoning their roots. Some radio stations refused to play them unless they did. And when COVID-19 stoked anti-Asian sentiment, they weren't spared. A German radio host infamously compared them to a virus after they covered a Coldplay song. BTS responded with grace but without staying silent, making it clear they weren't just entertainers, they were advocates. ARMY wasn't passive either. When BTS donated $1 million to Black Lives Matter, fans matched it in less than 24 hours. They organized fundraisers for disaster relief, mental health programs, and education initiatives worldwide. When the media downplayed BTS's accomplishments or racism reared its head, ARMY mobilized to correct the record and demand accountability. This was more than fandom, it was activism with a playlist. Even military service didn't break the bond between BTS and ARMY. When the group announced they'd be pausing to fulfill their enlistment duties, it was a shock. But the countdown to 2025 began instantly. In the meantime, members released solo projects that showed just how much they'd grown as artists. J-Hope's grunge-infused Jack in the Box, RM's introspective Indigo, Jimin's vulnerable Face, Suga's genre-bending D-Day. The variety proved what fans had always known. Each member was a powerhouse in his own right, But the magic has always been in their unity. 11 years together without scandal, without public falling outs, without the implosion that so often claims groups at their level. They grew up together, weathered the chaos of fame together, and are set to return together. The 2025 reunion isn't just another tour, it's being treated like a cultural reset, a chance to witness history being made all over again. Behind the glittering stages, awards, and world records is a story about rewriting the music industry's unwritten rules. BTS didn't wait for permission. They didn't conform to Western expectations. They made their own lane and brought millions along for the ride. And they did it by being unapologetically themselves. Artists who could make you laugh, cry, dance, and think, often in the same song. The question now isn't whether they'll reclaim their crown, it's how much higher they can push the ceiling. Because if there's one thing BTS has proven, it's that their story isn't just about music. It's about connection, resilience, and the idea that you don't have to follow the path to make history. You can make your own, and when they walk back onto that stage together, the roar from ARMY won't just be applause, it'll be the sound of a movement picking up right where it left off.